The journey itself was firstly long, a little bit frustrating, but I think, just seeing the progress I've made over the last 1 year or so was really satisfying. SC was my weakest section, and I think EGMAT did a really good job of first having a foundation course around master comprehension, where you learn so much around just initially when I took the first exam, I felt, I was very short on time. I was taking up a lot of time trying to solve each quant question, maybe more than 2 minutes. But here, just the quant rules, just math rules that help us save a lot of our time, was something that really helped me improve my score there.
Now we'll move into our next segment, that is the rapid fire round. If you could just rewind the time and go back into the past, what advice would you give to your past self about the GMAT journey?
I would say just believe in yourself, I guess.
Hello and welcome everyone to another debrief session of EGMAT. And today we have with us another superstar and a rock star of EGMAT who has scored not just a 760 on the GMAT, that's the top 1% on the GMAT exam, but have also secured a deferred admission in the Kellogg. And he has scored a 760 with a Q50 and a V42. That just puts him in the 96th percentile in verbal, being a non-native speaker. And we welcome Manan Dadania to this podium. So thank you for taking our time, and we congratulate you for your success, Manan.
Thank you, Akash, for such a wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone.
Thank you. So just to let everyone know about a little bit about your background. So he has done a Bachelor's of Science in Applied Mathematics and Economics, and that is again from the Northwestern University in US. And he's been working for approximately 3 years, like approximately 2 years in the investment banking and the last 1 year in private equity, right?
That's right.
Perfect. So, Manan, why don't we just get right into your journey and let the viewers know that how you reached the 760? It's a 100-point improvement that you have got in your GMAT score. You started with a 660 score and you reached the 760. So, the stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you. I think the journey itself was firstly long, a little bit frustrating, but I think, just seeing the progress I've made over the last 1 year or so was really satisfying. When I started off, my biggest weakness was around verbal. And me being a working professional, I had to find something that, not only provides me with a structured program where I don't have to think about what I need to study next, but also is very strong on the verbal side of it. I personally felt I was strong on the quant side. And so when I ended up doing some research online, I felt like eGMAT felt perfectly into what I was looking for. And that's why I ended up subscribing to it. And I'm really impressed with the entire course structure and how everything's been laid out. I think verbally itself, like I'm really, really think that if you're a non-native speaker, I think you should definitely consider eGMAT.
So, Manan, why not we start about your verbal journey? So, when you joined EGMAT, okay, you've got a V42 in your final score. So, how you improved in your verbal? Let's start. Like, how was your experience with SC, CR, and RC?
Yeah, I think for me personally, when I think about it, CR and RC was something that came a little bit naturally to me. SC was my weakest section. And I think EGMAT did a really good job of first having a foundation course around master comprehension, where you learn so much around just pause points and just, able to break down long sentences and indenting those to really understand what the meaning of the sentence is and what the author is trying to convey. And
Mhm.
that really helped me, save a lot of my time in SC, because what I was doing was I was taking up almost 2.5 minutes in SC questions. But with that, and I used to be rereading the entire sentences multiple times just to make sure I was getting what the author is trying to say. But with master comprehension, I was able to save down a lot of my time on that and also improve my accuracy on that. And I think even just in SC module itself of eGMAT, they break out the entire program pretty nicely into, different grammar rules that we need to learn upon. And it helps us figure out during when we are reading us doing a SC question, it
Mhm.
helps us figure out, which grammar rule that that the author is trying to touch upon, or the test taker is trying to touch upon. And so I think that was this. module that ended up spending a lot of my time on, and it really helped me improve my score. And CRRC section itself, I felt, I ended up just doing the cementing stages. I didn't end up going through the module because I felt I was strong at it.
Okay, perfect. Now, what about quant? So, as I remember, when you started off the journey, you started with a Q43 and you ended up with a Q50. So, it's a 7 point improvement in quant as well. So, what you did differently in quant after joining the course?
Yeah, I think with quant, I think what initially happened was I felt I was really strong at it, but a lot of the math rules I might have forgotten initially when I was taking the exam for the first time. And also, I think what EGMAT did really well was focus on teaching students the shortcuts and saving time. Because initially, when I took the first exam, I felt, I was very short on time. I was taking up a lot of time trying to solve each quant question, maybe more than 2 minutes. But here, just the quant rules, just math rules that help us save a lot of our time, was something that really helped me improve my score there.
Perfect. So, let's talk about your exam date. Okay, so you scored a 760 and you gave the exam in the last week of September. So, how was your test day experience? Anything like you faced unusual over there or anything happened?
Yeah, it's thinking about it now, it's a little bit funny, but at the moment it wasn't. I think the day of the exam, when I was entering the building, I was supposed to check in with the security guard, but they didn't have my name listed with the security guard, so the security guard wouldn't let me go up. And so I felt like I might have to reschedule my exam.
Mhm.
And but I think they were able to get in touch with the test center, and they finally were able to figure it out after 15-20 minutes. So that was a little bit of stressful period, but I think
Mhm.
in hindsight, it's funny now. But yeah,
Yeah, did it play any part like in the initial few questions when you started off
no,
with?
no, I think it was fine. I think because there's still like once you go up, there's like at least 15-20 minutes for you to settle in, put away your stuff, and they check you in. And by that time, you're so much in exam mode that you don't really think about that.
Yes, perfect. So, so I have been mentoring you from a long time, right? And I have been seeing your strategies and how you like progress in the mocks. So you scored a 760 in the final exam, but you've been scoring for fun like 760, 770s on every mock that you were giving. Hardly there were one or two mocks wherein the score dipped a little bit, but mostly you were scoring about 760s, 770s in the mocks as well. So what was your strategy in the mock before, during, and after?
Yeah. I think with mocks, when I initially started off, my what I realized was in verbal section, I was taking up a lot of time, so I wasn't able to finish my verbal section. And one reason for that was me taking a lot of time on questions that I was getting wrong. So I used to spend, for example, an essay question, I used to take up 3 minutes, which I would inevitably end up getting wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But then over time, like as I was progressing through my mock exams and seeing how my score and my timings were for each section, I realized that it's better to let go of questions that you're not sure of and preserve time for other questions on the back end of that section. And that really helped me, improve my score. And I feel, and I started to complete my verbal section, which was really key in helping me. Another thing, what I did was even just in the beginning of the verbal section, I used to take up a lot of my time, but what I ended up doing was for each section, I ended up targeting certain time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so for each first half of, for example, verbal section, I tried to get it done in, 30, 35 minutes, the first 20 questions. And that was my goal. And then I have enough time for the second half of verbal section. And so that's how I was able to divide and conquer up each section.
Perfect. That's a valuable insight to look into the mocks actually. So let's talk about your Kellogg admission. First of all, we congratulate you to get the deferred admission over there. That's a really huge thing for any GMAT aspirant to get an admission into the Kellogg. So talk us through your interview. Like you gave an interview over there, and like what was your interview like over there?
Yeah. So it's a little bit different experience than going through a traditional MBA application process because, when I was at Northwestern, this was the first time Kellogg ended up doing a deferred program similar to like HBS 2+2 program. And I wasn't thinking about doing MBA or considering at that point, but I ended up applying because being a Northwestern student, you're not technically required to provide a GMAT score when you're applying for this deferred program for Kellogg. And so as a result, I just ended up spending a lot of my time on essays and getting through the application. And when the interview came, I think it's generally by a Kellogg alum. And my main focus was, I ended up doing a few mock interviews beforehand that I generally do before any interview.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, could be with friends and families. I would give them a set of questions that I would have pre-prepared that I think are the key questions. So the questions I really spent a lot of my time was firstly, why do you want to do MBA and how it fits into your career goals? And the second was why Kellogg in particular. And those two questions that I think are the key. And otherwise, I think you just have to come out naturally on the day of the interview. I don't think you need to do something outside the box. And so I think from my perspective, just those two questions are the key when you think about interviews for MBAs.
Perfect. What about the essays then over there? How were they like?
Yeah, I think even the essay itself, they were more introspective. It forced you to think more around why MBA? Why would you do MBA in a few years? Like, how would that fit into your plans? They're just seeing you have certain vision, you have certain career path that you're looking towards, and MBA fits perfectly into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me, the entire process of the application itself really helped me think along those lines because I felt before that I was just ready for my first job and not thinking about anything else. But it got me pushing in that direction about, thinking about second job or whatever, a few years down the line, what you might want to be doing. And so I think so application itself and the essays were that way led me to be a little bit more introspective.
Perfect. And now that you've just got a 760 on the GMAT exam, you might just well send them the score and probably ask for a higher scholarship over there.
I know. Yeah, that's true. I agree. I should do that.
Perfect. So that's a valuable insight into your journey right over there. So now we'll move into our next segment, that is the rapid fire round. Okay, where we'll be asking you a few questions of fun, some quirky questions about your GMAT journey, and you need to be
I'm
rapid.
scared.
Oh, you already are rapid and candid with your answers every time. We can see that in your final score. Perfect. So let's get started with that. Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So the first question would be, if you could have one GMAT superpower, so supposedly, for example, you're solving all the DS questions quickly, what would that GMAT superpower will be for you?
Oh, tough one. Probably being able to solve SC question in under 1 minute.
Okay,
That would be really nice.
perfect. One song that kept you motivated throughout your GMAT journey.
Yeah. I started listening to a lot of hip hop recently, and one
Mm-hmm.
song that comes to my mind was "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
Okay,
That I ended up hearing a lot just to be motivated.
per-
Yeah.
perfect. Any funny or quirky moment that happened in your entire GMAT journey, which right now, if you think about it, just brings a smile on your face
Yeah, I think I already mentioned it.
the day of the exam?
But day of the exam, yeah, I keep thinking about it. I was like, I don't want to go back and reschedule my exam
Yeah.
because you already are so prepped for it, and it's just like, but yeah, no, it's funny at the moment, but yeah, now it's funny, but yeah.
Perfect. How about suggesting a title that sums up your GMAT journey?
Um, I guess I would say persistence because we have been prepping for more than 9 months, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't give up with all the challenges around just my
So,
work commitments and everything else. But yeah,
yes, a journey of persistence.
there we
Perfect.
go.
Okay. And if you could just rewind the time and go back into the past, what advice would you give to your past self about the GMAT journey?
Ooh, I would say just believe in yourself, I guess.
Okay.
I felt like for me, it was like competitive exam was something that I was always scared of, but
Okay.
I was able to overcome it and able to overcome my fear of the exam day, the final exam day. So yeah,
Mhm.
just believe in yourself.
Perfect. Anything like you did to overcome that anxiety? Anything particular?
Um, yeah, I think just like I initially for me, outcomes was something that I was really focused on. So like I wanted to get 760, 770, for example.
Mm.
And that's what I would take in for my final day exam. But when I gave my last attempt, I was like, I already have admission at Kellogg. I don't need to worry. So I just like let go of any expectations and just wrote the exam in much
Mhm.
freer manner. And yeah, it just delivered the results. So
As you say, like the GMAT is an exam of ability, and if you are fresh, calm, and composed during the exam, you perform really much better.
I agree. I agree.
Perfect, perfect. So that's a wrap on that segment, and that's a great note to sign off at. But before we do that, any final tip for all the GMAT aspirants out there?
Yeah, no, I think nothing in particular. What I'll say is, if you are
Mhm.
thinking about giving EGMAT, oh sorry, if you're thinking about giving GMAT, and if you're a working professional who's in a similar boat as I was, I'm working in finance, have long hours, so I have very limited time on weekdays. I
Okay.
think you should definitely consider EGMAT or just a program that lets you be really focused, committed, and being able to spend at least 2 hours per day preparing for it,
Mhm.
because that really helped me stay focused within my timeline and push me. And I would say, if you can, find a mentor like Akash, always a game changer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your kind words, and that's a wrap on for the interview. And we really thank you for taking out the time today to talk to our viewers and sharing your journey with all of them. And from the EG Mans family, we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. We are sure that whatever you will be choosing, you will definitely be excelling in that as well.
Thank you, Akash. It was great speaking with you today.
Thank you so much.